guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, hello, my name is Delisha Renee, and as you might have seen from my channel, we're doing another soup recipe. I say another because I featured one in my video last week after the grocery haul. And actually, full disclosure, I 100% forgot to put the leftovers away after we finished dinner because I was just so tired that day, and my husband didn't realize it was still out. So yeah, all that work went to waste, and I was really disappointed because that soup was really good, and I was looking forward to it for lunch the next day. But we're here for another soup that I'm not going to forget to put the leftovers in because I'm determined not to do that. And it isn't quite like that cool cold season for fall yet here in PA. We had fall for a little bit plus some rain, and then the 80-degree weather came back, and then today is a little bit more cooler than it was the last couple of days. So I'm gonna make some soup, and this one is one I got off of Instagram. I'm gonna link her name down below, or I'll put it across the screen here. I'm not sure if she has a YouTube channel to tag to let her know, because it's I don't know if she has a channel. So I'm gonna link her name along the screen below if you want to go check her out. This is a really good soup. It is a butternut squash and gnocchi soup. If you haven't had gnocchi, I think it's kind of like a potato dumpling type of deal, but instead of doing a potato gnocchi, because I don't have that, I have cauliflower gnocchi, so we're going to use that instead, and I'm so excited. So I have it somewhat set up because we have to roast the veggies first. And sorry if this is not put together. I decided to film this or start this right after I came from the gym. So I'm not the gym. I don't have a gym. I'm just working out. I was in my living room. Anyway, let's get to the actual recipe. So to my sheet pan, I have a butternut squash that I have scooped out the seeds, a little bit of salt and pep, and the herbs we're using for this one, I think it's the same as last week's video, which was sage and some rosemary. And at the end, when everything's all done, I'm going to add some chopped up fresh parsley. This is a head of garlic with a little bit of oil that I cut the top off. I didn't want it to, I was concerned about it burning, so I put it here in this aluminum foil just so we can get that roasted feeling before it burns, before the rest of this is done. And then we have some cut up onions as well. It's going in the oven at 425. I think I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna check it at 30 minutes, but this needs to get soft and a little bit caramelized. But I actually don't want the top to burn as well, so I'm actually gonna turn this over just like that, and then we're gonna roast all this. Like I said, I'm gonna check it at the 30-minute mark to see if, mainly this part, because these will, well, one off look, I'll know when these are done. But this is a somewhat heartier vegetable, even though it's, it's gonna get all nice and soft, because we're gonna blend this at the end, and we need it soft for it to actually blend through the blender. So, like I said, gonna let that go for about 30 minutes, and then check, and then I'll keep going at like 10-minute increments if it's not ready. So this is what it's looking like after about 35 minutes. As you can see, I should have used a spoon, but it's very soft. It's not like super soft. I just want a little bit of caramelization because it's gonna get, like I said, it's gonna get blended up. So I just basically need a little bit of caramelization, really some of that natural sugars in the squash, and then just make it easier to blend. Because I'm probably gonna use my immersion blender rather than putting it in the actual blender. And then the onions are done. All I'm gonna do is let this cool down just a little bit, just enough for me to handle so I can scoop it out. And then we're gonna put it in the pan and then get ready to finalize the soup. Okay, so I threw everything into my Instant Pot, mainly because I needed to use the outlet that was closer to this wall here, and it was just a taller pot as well. And I threw everything in there, and then I squeezed out the garlic from the bulb, so you have like a nice roasted garlic, almost like paste. And then it's gonna add in some water and some better than bouillon paste, mainly because I am out of vegetable stock, which you can also use here. I think you can also just use plain water if you didn't have stock, broth, or better than bouillon. You would just probably have to just more adjust your seasonings and things like that. And and then to that, I'm adding some nutritional yeast for kind of like this umami somewhat creaminess flavor as well. If you would like, you can also add a little bit of heavy cream. I wouldn't add it at this point if you're going to do cream. I would add that more closer to the end. But I'm just going to take my immersion blender and blend that all up. Real talk, I actually probably should have just put this all in the blender. It would have been a little bit more faster, mainly because these were more, a little bit more chunkier pieces. Or also probably could have let the squash go for maybe another, maybe 20-30 minutes if I really wanted to. And that way it would have been like super soft and ready for more blending. But yeah, just if you don't have a blender, this could work if you have an immersion blender or something smaller like this. You could do it in a food processor, or if you don't have any of those tools, a good old-fashioned masher would work here too. It won't get as smooth if you're using a blender or food processor or an immersion blender right like this, but it will still get the job done. This part, I just realized after, like while I was doing it, that it took a little bit more work than I thought, and it really would have been much faster to put it in my blender. So, noted for next time. And after I get it blended to the consistency that I like, I'm just going to let this come up to a slight boil before you add the rest of your ingredients. And then while that is coming up to simmer, I'm actually going to roast up some chickpeas with some avocado oil, smoked paprika, garlic powder, salt and pepper. And I'm just going to roast these at the same temp of 425 for about 10 to 15 minutes, just so like they can get nice and crispy for our topping. And then back to our Instant Pot. As you can see, it's coming to like a little boil as the steam is really coming out now. And I'm here adding some cauliflower gnocchi, which I mentioned earlier. It's a alternative to potato gnocchi, which is kind of almost like a potato dumpling, but this one's made out of cauliflower. And I'm also adding in some Swiss chard. You can do whatever hearty green as well that you want here. And we're going to mix that all in and let it come until just warm. You're really just warming up the gnocchi, really, and wilting a little bit of the greens here. And that took maybe about 10 minutes. If you're doing this on like a stove, I would do this like on a low simmer rather than the saute part of the Instant Pot. But put it on a stove at a low simmer. So that way you're not bringing it to a high boil, but a low boil to warm everything up. And here is our results. As you can see, I added the crispy chickpeas on top to give it gives a nice little crunch and also add some protein. And yeah, I really think that soup was really easy to make. I think start to finish. Well, just the actual like heating up and cooking the soup only took maybe about 20 minutes, but to roast it, um, it took maybe about like 30-35. So yeah, if you want to pour that time, you can actually roast it ahead of time, like maybe the day before or that morning, and then later on go ahead and like get it ready. You can even do to make it even more easier on yourself, get maybe the steam in the bag butternut squash, and then that way you just got to throw it in the microwave for like 5 minutes to have it already cooked, and then um have it on the stove. Or I guess you could also get the already like cubed up um, butternut squash in the produce section. That's usually where it is. And then just put it in a pot of water, bring it to a boil until it's nice and tender, and then do all like your mashing or blending like that. The roasting was just to bring out the natural caramelized sugars in the squash, but you can actually skip that part and just go straight to the boiling, almost like you would do with potatoes, to where they're really tender, to where you can mash them or blend them up. And then, like I said, I had used nutritional yeast just for a more like umami flavor. Like I said, you could have for the last maybe 3 to 5 minutes added some heavy cream instead for another. That's also will give you like that creaminess and more like a richness, so to speak. And if you don't want to top it with the chickpeas, you can also top it with croutons or maybe some bacon and some chives, or no toppings at all, and just have it like, you know, with, it actually would work with a grilled cheese sandwich, but I did that just to add a little bit more protein because we were eating that by itself. I think yesterday when we had it as a side for lunch, I didn't actually put the toppings on it because I had it with like a sandwich stuff. Because the cauliflower gnocchi, while it has protein in it, it's not like a high amount of protein, so which is why I was adding some of the chickpeas for a singular meal. But yeah, but thank you guys for tuning into my channel. Tune in next week. I think next week is a closet reorganization. I think that's the next video that's coming out. Either that or it's a vlog. I can't remember which one too. Or I might flip it. We'll see. But thank you guys for hanging with me. I hope you have a lovely day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. And I'll see you next week.